All right, friends, a further update on our carb conversion on our LS powered 944. This week we got in the intake manifold O-rings, so intake manifold is permanently on there. The fuel system is all plumbed, and we're starting to work on the wiring for the MSD, and we also have to, make the fuel pump come on, and the fan and the alternator. So that's what we're working on right now. There you can see manifolds on there. Got a lot of the wiring started here. This is the wiring for the MSD. So this goes around and loops over there. The MSD is going to be over there somewhere. Once we figure out a good spot for it. It's a little tight in this engine compartment, but we'll make it work. And the fuel line has the heat shielding on it to keep it from premature death and the fires that result from the death of fuel lines on a 944. And we picked up a ground in the back here, this bolt. Still got to remove that and put a star washer in it. That'll be the ground for the coil side of the MSD. And we still got to do this is power and ground for the MSD, and this will go to the black wire will go to ground and the red wire will go to a relayed 12 volts, which will probably sit in here somewhere, since I can't really find a good spot for it in the engine compartment. And we've got to do a little rewiring. This is these are two main power wires for the old Atomic LS system, so we'll be removing those and putting in a couple of fused lines to run to the relays. The one mystery I have is this is the wire that plugs into the alternator. It's just one wire, even though it's 2 pins, but you got to figure out if you run that, if you can run it directly to 12 volts or if you have to run it to a resistor. I know the old school GM one wire alternators, you just ran it through a 10 ohm resistor to 12 volts, and that caused the field to be energized on the alternator, and it worked. But we'll figure it out. All right, so we've gotten through most of the wiring. The MSD is all wired up. Fuel pump's all wired up. Tucked a couple of relays back in here. This one's for the fuel pump. This one's for the MSD. And ran a wire over here. This is from the alternator. I got to figure out if we put this through a resistor or to a keyed 12 volt source or what. And this goes to the fan relay. So we'll have to figure out how to work that out. But yeah, fuel system's all done, and what we're gonna do next, I think, is cut the hole in the hood. Something I've been dreading. So the hole in the hood thing is a little bit of an issue for me, because I really like the way this car looks with the hood the way it is, but there's no way the carburetor is going to fit under that. So the original plan was to use the spare hood, which is the same color as this nose panel. Then I got to thinking, the nose panel and the spare hood are in perfect condition. This hood, because You know, we've had an LS in it. We've got a bunch of dents there, and we had to cut out part of the hood brace so that the throttle body could fit under the hood. And we, from the heater hose valve over here, there's dents in the hood. So my thought is, this hood out of the two is less than perfect. So why not cut the hole in that one? So I think that's what we're going to do. All right, so the plan here, we drilled a hole in the center. First, the other day I put a stud in the middle of the carburetor for the air filter and basically put the hood down on it and rocked it back and forth so it would make a mark. And then I center punched it from underneath and drilled like a 1/4-inch hole so this stud will stick through there. We stuck the air filter top on here, put painter's tape around it, and we have it marked at 1 inch. So we want the hole to be about 1 inch wider, well, diameter wise, 2 inches more than the air filter is. So basically you'll have 1 inch of clearance around it. And now we just got to figure out what kind of sawing tools we're going to use to cut it. All right, so our hole is marked. Now, I just used a piece of wire and a Sharpie and measured it out and just went around it. It's not perfect, but it's plenty good enough. We're going to put a hood scoop over top of this once we get everything else sorted out. So next is figure out what we're going to cut it with. Probably going to use a little jigsaw. I have a little jigsaw. Probably got to put some more tape around here so we don't scratch up the outer surface. So let's get to it. And I got to put something underneath here, because otherwise, oh, I guess I got to prop the hood up too so we don't accidentally saw something. That would be bad. But yeah, we got to get a piece of cardboard or something and stick it over there so all the saw shavings will not go into the engine. Well, there it is. Big old hole in the hood. Ugh. Well, let's clean this up and see if it fits. All right, moment of truth here. Take the carburetor, set that on top. Take a piece of wood out of here. First we'll see what we got. Okay. That looks pretty centered. Next. Bottom. Air filter. Filter top. Now, will it close? That don't suck too bad. All right, well there it is. Hole in hood. Let's see how high is the front. Haven't really thought a lot about that, but the front of the air filter is a lot higher than the back. So yeah, it's three and a half at the front. Yeah, the bump in the back there, it's a good 4 inches. So yeah. Special shout out to Steve Roth, who commented in the last video that he's done one of these swaps on a 944, and he said the Harwood 4104 bolt-on 4-inch scoop will fit this. And that's fantastic information. From Summit, it's HAR 4104. Because last Sunday I was frantically searching through Summit to try to find something to cover this thing up. And I found the Harwood 1114, and I couldn't find anything else. And all the hood scoops, this is not a bolt-on one, it's a bond-on one, and I was planning on just bolting it on anyway. But it's 54 inches long, so I would have had to cut it down, because it actually would have been a little bit longer than this whole hood. But the 4104 is only, I think it's 38 inches long, so it should fit pretty nicely. It's ordered. The 1114 sitting over there is going to go back. Summit's taking it back, so no worries there. So the next thing we can do is plug the fuel line into the, well, permanently mount the carburetor now, plumb the fuel line to it, and we could see if everything works and it starts and stuff. All right, this is the moment of truth. Carb's on it, fuel line's hooked to it, put the banjo on there, we put the gas pedal cable on there, and if we wired it right, we'll turn the key, fuel pump should come on, and then we'll check to see if there's any fuel leaks. Okay, fuel pump came on. looks like there's a port in this fuel block, and it looks like it's not sealed because it's leaking there. All right, so looks like we're probably buggered for this evening. This Y that I used, and this is a cautionary tale of beware when you buy cheap junk. So theoretically, you could put a pressure gauge in this port, and I elected to put it on the regulator instead, and I didn't bother checking this, and obviously it wasn't sealed, and the plug is made out of such crap that it will not come out. So probably what I have to do is take this all apart tomorrow, drill that thing out, and I don't know, maybe tap it to the next pipe size and plug it. So we'll see. Or we could just put a bunch of paper towels under the leak and see if the thing starts and shut it off. Ha! That ain't too bad. Wow. It fired right up. Okay. Looks like we got about 40 on the high pressure gauge, and whoa, yeah, a whole lot on the low pressure gauge. Wonder if we can bypass any more. Get down to 20. And we'll fire it up again and go out and look at it. Ugh. Idles. Okay, we got 20. We got 6. All right, carburetor's on, it runs. We got a hole in the hood, an air filter on it. Next, we got to fix the fuel leak, make the alternator work, and make the fan work. Then we'll be ready to go out on the road. We could probably go out on the road without the fan, as long as we keep moving. But yeah, whew. It seems to have a lot of zip and throttle response, so this should be interesting. All right, see you next time.